Considering short sellers are down over $10 billion, over 53% within the last 3 months, I think it's almost certain a short squeeze is coming with Tesla. I mean, how can it not? If Tesla especially continues to rally from here, short sellers can only last so long, and this whole entire rally has been fundamentally justified. This rally has not been a short squeeze. I repeat, you have not seen a short squeeze with Tesla stock in the same degree that you have seen in other big tech names. So when could this event be coming? What are some important catalysts we need to keep on the near-term horizon? And most importantly, where could Tesla stock go from here? Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I am simply a guy that was calling for the Tesla rally that we have recently seen, and it hit perfectly. I do not have a crystal ball, but I am going to put my money where my mouth is. Everything that is said in this video will be backed up with my personal dollars. So with that being said, we need to get into all of this information, especially a very important catalyst coming out tomorrow and some news coming out with Tesla here on the day-to-day. So let's get into all of that information. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything happening in the markets as well as with Tesla stock, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to make more money and reach financial freedom, and because it's free 99 to do so. Let's get into all of this information. Now let me start the video with this. I think one of the biggest strengths we have as retail investors is we get to see what's happening in the real economy. A lot of people on Wall Street don't understand what it's like to be a normal person. They have Wall Street friends. Shit, they're friends with market makers. They're friends with hedge funds. They're friends with people that are not interacting with your average customers, those average customers for Tesla or for other companies. And that's what I like to specialize in, is seeing things from a real economy's point of view, not the way economists see things. For an example, economist apparently today, B of A Securities, sees Tesla's market share dropping to 18% by 2026. They see Ford and GM's market share hitting almost 15% apiece during the same time frame. That is BS. That is not gonna happen. Tesla's technology is far superior. Their full self-driving capabilities are really going to be what pushes Tesla to the extremes, which gets the stock close to those Cathie Wood targets of $2,000 to $3,000 per share by, again, 2026, 2027. But more importantly than that, I think we have some big catalyst on the near-term horizon that Wall Street doesn't see coming. And one of those I've been very adamant about is advertising. Where I live, in the economy that I live in, people don't know about Teslas. And that might sound crazy to even some of you guys. If I said this to a hedge fund on Wall Street, they would be like, dude, where do you live? Do you live in like the boonies? No. Matter of fact, I don't. Matter of fact, I live in a city and I hardly see Teslas. That's because people don't know about Teslas. They don't know about the things that we know about as investors in Tesla. Again, the technology, the fact that you're not going to get stranded on the side of the road, the fact that you can drive a Tesla when it's raining. Some people don't even understand that simple concept. And why is this a thing? Why do people not know about Teslas? Well, Tesla is not advertised. And I pointed this out in one of the last videos that I put out as well, specifically about advertising. And I use McDonald's as an example. McDonald's advertises to keep their brand alive in your brain. They do it to stay relevant. So when you are choosing where you want to get food with your family, McDonald's is a top of mind. They're not expecting their sales to just exponentially jump because they're advertising more. It's not it. With Tesla, they will see their sales jump exponentially because they are introducing a brand to the mass public in which that has not been done before. Now, you might say, hey, with a short squeeze, how does advertising play into that? Well, it does, but it doesn't. I think here in the short term, you could see a rally in Tesla stock without this advertising boost to their order books, something I expect later in 2023. But when Wall Street finally figures out that, hey, what Tesla is doing is going to dramatically increase their sales, which maybe turns a demand problem, quote unquote, demand problem, in which a lot of people thought Tesla had when the stock was at $100, into a production problem, meaning that Tesla just can't keep up with their demand. I think that's when Wall Street starts to project out better numbers. Markets will start to price that into Tesla stock, and Tesla stock will start to rally far before you see the order book 5 or 10x in the next year or two, as per my expectations. Again, you're introducing a brand to the mass public, in which really has not happened in the auto industry in a very long time. Like Tesla is an anomaly there, where it's only been word of mouth. You have not seen advertisements. People don't know about Teslas. They're not educated around what Teslas are. Now, I think this is more so a catalyst over the next 3 to 6 months when Wall Street starts to price in better order numbers coming based off of advertising. I think a short squeeze is going to happen before then, and I think Tesla stock could rally exponentially here in the near term. Now, the biggest catalyst that we're going to have here in the near term is coming on July 2nd. Now, if you are buying Tesla right now, if you think a short squeeze is going to happen and you think Tesla is going to rip substantially over $300 per share, $350, $400 per share, or even get back to all-time highs or break all-time highs, you're basically expecting Tesla to beat analyst estimates. And by beating analyst estimates, you're probably expecting a decent beat to the upside. If that happens, Tesla stock most certainly, in my personal opinion, keep in mind I'm not a financial advisor, will see a short squeeze, especially because these shorts got into their short positions under $200. A vast majority of shorts are in between that 130 range, really at the almost the bottom of this cycle with Tesla, and that 170 range. A lot of shorts are concentrated in that area, as we can see when we actually look at the short numbers. And we'll go ahead and do that right now. Over the last 3 months, short sellers are down roughly $10 billion. They're down about 55.2%. 3 months ago, there was $15 billion worth of short positions on Tesla. The dollar amount currently sold short in Tesla, $23.5 billion. And what has the short interest done this whole time? Well, it's trended higher. And it really hasn't fallen at all during this rally. A little bit. You went from 3.51% short interest on free float to 3.37% short interest on free float. And you're estimated to be back basically to 3.5% short interest. Now, it's not about the size of the float that's sold short with Tesla that's going to give you the short squeeze. Like other stocks that are 20, 30, 40, 50% sold short, it's different. Tesla has a high dollar amount that's currently sold short. And like we said, relative to what you've seen over the last 3 months, short sellers have lost a lot of money. So you're going to start to see billions of dollars covering in Tesla stock. Could be as soon as July 2nd, once we get the delivery numbers coming out. Now, we've talked about this extensively in other videos, so I don't want to get into it too much, but you've seen 77,000 vehicles bought in China alone in the month of May. If you extrapolate that just based off of China alone for the last 3 months, you would be almost beating Tesla's Q2 record, which is around 250,000 vehicles being delivered. So there are pretty high estimates for Tesla. Around 444,000 vehicles are expected to have been sold and delivered. Again, that's almost 200,000 more vehicles than their previous record. But I think Tesla is going to come in around 460 to 480,000 as per my own estimates. And that's going to make Tesla probably raise its full year guidance, in which that's where the short sellers are really going to have a problem. After all, it doesn't look like Tesla is the only one that could be raising their full year guidance. GM says, quote, if the consumer remains at this strength, we could significantly outperform what we said about full year performance. General Motors Chief Financial Officer Paul Jacobson told Deutsche Bank Investor Conference, saying that new vehicle demand from U.S. retail and commercial customers is outpacing expectations across the board. And Ford also said comments that were similar. And what you've even seen recently with Tesla is Tesla has started to raise prices again, which all of these things really feed into the narrative that Wall Street might have it wrong here, and they might have to reprice Tesla even more than what they already have. Now, one of the most beautiful things about a potential short squeeze with Tesla stock is, in my personal opinion, I've said this before, and it's going to sound redundant to a lot of people, but I'm going to say it again. Tesla should have never been $100 per share. This was a sell-off that was overblown. Tesla sold off from $315 down to $100. So if you consider this sell-off in relation to the rally that you have seen, it hasn't been that high. I mean, what you've seen during some of the sell-offs in 2022 was Tesla really traded at the lower end range around $210 per share. That was the low that you've seen in June and May, and even before the August rally. That's probably where Tesla should have bottomed, period. It should have never went to $100 per share. So if you consider that, the rally has only just begun with Tesla. And the short sellers basically got trapped shorting at this lower end range. Another reason why I think shorts will have to cover on their short positions. And another reason why I think Tesla is going exponentially higher from here. Not to mention, pre-orders for the Cybertruck are at about 1.5 million, and we start to get some incremental revenue from that by the end of this year. Ultimately, I think advertising is going to be the thing that really changes market expectations for Tesla to sell more vehicles. And then once your robo-taxis start to get on the road in 2024, that's where I think full self-driving sales are actually going to take off. A lot of people that I know, everyone that I know really, is uncomfortable with letting a car drive them around. That's the reality that we face. That's the hurdle for full self-driving, is getting people to trust their vehicle to drive for them. And I think once you start to actually see robo-taxis out there in 2024, and news starts to kind of cover these things more, then that's going to encourage a lot more people to buy full self-driving. Those are 100% gross margins. So I think the projection of these things are going to start here in the next 3 to 6 months. Now we got to get past July 2nd. That's going to be the near-term biggest catalyst for Tesla. And what we have seen recently is a lot of enthusiasm from hedge funds and institutions. Seen a lot of bullish option activity, and we'll look at that here in just a second. But even over the last couple of days here, Tesla stock has been holding up key support at that 250 level. And I expect some sideways trading action leading into July 2nd. You might ramp up higher into the 260 or 270 range into July 2nd. After July 2nd, I expect the exponential rally, the short squeeze to actually occur. But in the near term, if you can trade sideways here, get that RSI to come down, as I indicated in the last video, remain above 250, the key support level, then I think you're going to have something along the lines of NVIDIA. And what NVIDIA's chart looks like is going to look similar to Tesla as well. NVIDIA was substantially oversold on the RSI. It traded sideways. It came down for a couple days. You got the RSI back under overbought levels, and then the stock rips to new all-time highs, and the RSI is not even close to where it was previously, but the stock's higher. I expect this similar pattern to take place in Tesla heading into July 2nd. Now, when we think in terms of a short squeeze, it's really hard to quantify just how high the stock might go and what kind of effect just simply put, short sellers covering on their short positions could have in conjunction with retail investors buying, with hedge funds buying, because they are not exposed to Tesla, obviously, in the same way that they were in 2021 when the stock was hitting new all-time highs. Everyone loved Tesla. Since those highs in 2021, you have not seen the same investor participation in Tesla. And I think that's part of why Tesla is ripping recently. And if you take a look at the option activity, that kind of tells you that people want more exposure to an upside move in Tesla. Over the last week, you have seen 2,200 hedge fund and institutional orders go into Tesla worth $1.85 billion with a positive order value of 71%. Today, you're seeing 337 orders totaling $240 million with a positive order value of 69%. These are very bullish numbers. All things considered, Tesla's red today. And the positive order value is not indicating that people are looking to take profits or expecting a downside move. Matter of fact, you're seeing a lot of people betting that Tesla could hit as high as $265 by tomorrow. And you see that represented in the volume activity with Tesla. At the 260 call alone expiring tomorrow, you have almost 141,000 contracts that have been bought today. That's a very high number, and that does indicate bullish activity overall. Now let's try to quantify what a near-term short squeeze mixed with a lot of positive catalysts, which we've gotten recently, could take Tesla stock, and then more of a longer term, really by the end of 2023, in combination with advertising starting to look good, Tesla's orders outpacing analyst expectations, and everything else that we discussed here in this video, where the stock could really go by the end of this year. Now, I think in the short term, after July 2nd, you most certainly can test or break above 315. If you get up to this level and you find resistance here, it's possible this could be the high of a potential, short squeeze or rally in Tesla in the near term, 315. Now, if you break above 315, which I kind of expect to happen, I think this is more so a like lower end estimate of 315. If you break above that, considering my opinion, the Tesla rally really only started around 210, you're at 255. I know that's not what actually happened. The stock went to 100, but where it should have went is a better way to put it. Only as low as about 210. Well, the rally has only just started. So when I look at it in those terms, to reach as high as 350 or even 400, close to new all-time highs, I don't think that is out of the cards whatsoever. Especially, again, if you beat on analyst expectations coming July 2nd. Now, that would be a very parabolic rally, and I would expect a reset back to that 350 level if you did hit as high as 400. It's not going to be a straight shot to the moon. Now, if other things such as advertising and all the other things we talked about here in this video really go as planned, coin price forecast could have the right price target for Tesla by the end of 2023, and that could be well in excess of $600 per share. It really all depends on expectations and how they are beaten. If expectations get massively beat, and Tesla really shows strong strength in their order book, and obviously full self-driving and all of the things we've talked about, well, the stock could certainly close the year in between $500 and $600 per share. And that's really the reason why I'm buying as many shares of Tesla as I can. I think Wall Street is disconnected from the actual economy and how some of these catalysts are going to affect Tesla's overall business. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Tesla could hit new all-time lows. I mean, anything can happen, right? Some people have $25 price targets on Tesla. Literally anything can happen. I'm not a financial advisor. So keep that in mind. Now, as far as the catalyst that we're going to have tomorrow, there's going to be another big catalyst that could actually be very important for this market. And it's going to be the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey. Now, the survey itself is not going to be as important. You're expecting a 60 reading. Last month was 59.2. It's the inflation expectations that are going to be important. The one-year inflation expectations have risen recently, and you're expecting them to come in at 4%. They rose in the month of April from 3.6% to 4.6%, came down to 4.2%. You're expecting them to go back down to 4%. I don't think the 1-year inflation expectations are as important. The 5-year inflation expectations, though, this is really important. So what you've seen during the October crash in the markets, 5-year inflation expectations hit a low of 2.7%, the lowest that you have seen in a very long time. Ever since then, you've really been trending higher, and you bottomed out January 2023, February, and March at 2.9%, and they were very stable here overall at 2.9%. They've recently started to increase. In April, 5-year inflation expectations went to 3%. In May, they went to 3.1%. You're expecting another 3.1% reading. Now, if you look at this on a longer-term basis, this is a 10-year chart of 5-year inflation expectations. You are at the 10-year high right now. So if you come in higher than 3.1%, you're going to be at a fresh, new 10-year high for 5-year inflation expectations. If you break above 3.4%, you're going to be at a 25-year high for these 5-year inflation expectations. This could be a very negative catalyst for the markets. It could show inflation expectations starting to get unanchored if you do start to break out from here. And this might be, one of the things the Fed looks at that says, hey, maybe we do need to raise rates more than expectations, guys. So this is going to be a huge catalyst coming out tomorrow. Not to mention, tomorrow is quad witching as well. And although it's not definitive to, having a bearish or bullish skew, I think the markets are pretty bullish right now. As you can see, markets are even up today quite a bit following the Fed. But quad witching does create higher levels of volume. And I think with specific stocks, such as maybe Tesla, you could have a bigger move than normal for a Friday based off of a lot of option expirations that are going to be taking place across futures, across stock index futures, across stock options, and single stock futures as well, guys. So expect a big day tomorrow. Expect an even bigger couple of months for Tesla, at least in my personal opinion. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. These are my thoughts, and this is how I am positioning my money. I think there is no reason why Tesla is down over 60% from its all-time highs, or maybe in other words, needs to rally 60% to get back to its all-time high when Apple is breaking out into a new all-time high today, Microsoft at a new almost at a new all-time high, and Nvidia blowing past its all-time highs every single day. Tesla should not be the lagger out of the bunch. Tesla cheaper on a PEG ratio, and for a lot of reasons, just an overall better company with better long-term fundamentals ahead of it, guys. So that is going to do it here in this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section, especially if you like the way we think here on this channel. You want to stay up to date with everything happening in the markets as well as with Tesla stock. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.